Earlier this month, Portland Trailblazers guard C.J. McCollum was elected as the president of the National Basketball Players Association, succeeding two-term president Chris Paul. Since 2018, McCollum's been a vice president on the NBA-PA's executive committee, deeply involved in union decision-making and negotiations with the NBA. And we are so pleased now to welcome in the aforementioned Blazers guard, C.J. McCollum, and of course, as a couple of weeks ago, NBA-PA. I've never been president of anything. C.J., what's that like?
First of all, it's a privilege and an honor to be in this position and be able to represent the players and be able to try to do what's best on behalf of the players. But it does come with a lot of work, a lot of responsibility, and I'm looking forward to the challenge of figuring out ways to continue to help grow the game and lead the game better than it was when I found it.
You've only been president for a couple of weeks, but what would you say is the most surprising thing that you've learned so far?
The amount of work that goes into it. You know, my hat goes off to CP. He does a lot of work behind the scenes that he doesn't necessarily get credit for, but it's a lot of calls. It's a lot of Zoom calls now due to the circumstances we're in now, just figuring out ways to improve our game and obviously dealing with COVID and what's kind of going to go into that for this upcoming season. There's a lot of discussions. There's a lot of involvement in trying to figure out, how to keep us as healthy as possible while reintroducing fans to the arenas. There's
also been a ton of discussion, as you know, surrounding the yin to your yang. Of course, I'm talking about Damian Lillard. A lot of speculation about how long he's going to be in Portland. Last night on Instagram Live, he did take some questions. He did not say he wanted out. He also was not effusive in saying long-term he wanted to stay in. CJ, how do you, as his teammate, view this situation right now?
First and foremost, I try to mind my own business. You know what I mean? Try to enjoy my life and take care of my family. But, Dame is my guy. We talk a lot and we have a great relationship. And obviously, I understand that he wants to be in Portland. He wants to win a championship. And I do, too. So we're going to try to figure out how to continue to improve individually and kind of bring that together collectively as a unit and do what we can to kind of help Chauncey transition into being the head coach. But Dame is going to continue to do what's best for himself and his family, and I will respect that regardless of what happens going forward.
Super teams load up. We're seeing that with the Lakers. Again, Russell Westbrook joining L.A. and your former teammate Carmelo as well, joining LeBron and AD. Your thoughts on the Lakers and just the Western Conference at all, as a whole?
Well, I think they got a lot of depth. They bring in my guy Melo. They bring in Russ. They continue to add depth in their backcourt with Kendrick Nunn. I think they're going to be a problem this season. They got a lot of veterans. They understand how to play the game the right way, and they understand how to win in big moments. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they kind of coexist together. I'm looking forward to seeing, obviously, Bron and Melo playing together. And the rest of the West has continued to figure out ways to get better from top to bottom. So it's going to be competitive. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you got to bring your hard hat every night because there's a lot of depth, a lot of talent, and a lot of dogs out there.
And as a Hoop fan, I just have to say, I'm looking forward to a full schedule. I know I'm not the one that has to play it, but I am looking forward to a full schedule, 82 games. C.J. McCollum, thank you for joining us on behalf of Lace Clips here on SportsCenter. Congratulations. Good luck this season. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Send rosé.
I got you. I'll send you some rosé.
Oh, my.
I got the Pinot.
Yes.
Uh-oh, they cut me off.
Wait.
They cut me off. Don't even trip.
Okay, what?
I stay ready. If you ain't ready.
Three guys who could score from anywhere. The most skilled at their size you could ever ask. History of basketball. Who's at their size more skilled than any one of those three guys? The Lakers had no shot. If everyone was healthy this year, it would have been Nets and Lakers. The Lakers would have been thrashed by these Nets. Now they got three dudes. Russell Westbrook's one of them dudes. And let me say something. People are going to get caught up on how it all fits together. That is not the issue here. The issue is bring in the talent. Do they need shooting? Yes. None of these guys are shooters, especially not Westbrook for his position. But can you find shooters? You think guys won't play on the vet minimum for this team? Of course they will. Whether they wind up with Kevin Love or they figure out a sign and trade with three-team deal, they still have Schroeder, Talen Horton Tucker. Those guys aren't great fits. Could they still swing something for Buddy Hield? Who knows? They'll be just fine. And one more thing about Russell Westbrook. Every single year, 3-4 years now, he's on a new team with new teammates. First half of the season, we're all like, Westbrook's finished. He's no good anymore. Because he's trying to figure things out because, contrary to popular belief among some, he is a team player. He's trying to figure out how to help the team. Second half, he's figured it out. He's learned his teammates. He knows his role. And then in the second half of every year, we go, he's having an MVP caliber second half. I expect the same thing to happen this year. Stephen A., if the Lakers are healthy, this is a real series if the Nets are healthy. It wouldn't have been before. It is now.
Well, that's really stepping out on the limb. It's a real series. Really? That's all you got? Because let me tell you something. That's obvious, Max Kellerman. There's no question that it's going to be a series if they were to meet. There's no question that it's a formidable big three, and the Lakers deserve a boatload of credit. Rob Pelinka, way to go in terms of assembling this and pulling this trade off, which obviously has happened. And I think Russell Westbrook is worth it. We all know he's a superstar. We all know he's a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. We know at the age of 32 going on 33, he's still electrifying. He's still the most athletic point guard in the history of the National Basketball Association. And the fact that you got him with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, Lord have mercy. It almost makes it to a point where it might be, we might all need to be medicated for depression if we don't get this finals. Brooklyn versus Los Angeles next season.
I think it's going to happen.
I really do.
I really do. This year was odd.
But even injuries would disappoint it because we're all salivating for it now more than ever. Okay. But this has to be said, and I got to be, let me make sure I'm very careful. Because I suspect the Westbrook family might be watching. Let me make sure I'm very clear with what I'm trying to say. There will never, or there will never have been more pressure on Russell Westbrook for this upcoming season. This is the most pressure that he has been through in his career. Now, to be fair to him, he doesn't give a damn. Russell Westbrook don't care about much. He a rough rider. He's pig-headed. He's strong-willed. Whatever word, phrase you want to think is appropriate. He don't give a damn. But from the outside world looking at him, more than ever before, his resume is going to come into play. The triple doubles. Remember when I was controversial, Max and Molly, because I was talking about I didn't care about a 35, 21, and 14 performance. People misconstrued. I'm hating on Westbrook. No, I'm saying that Russell Westbrook is so phenomenal. Russell Westbrook is such a talent that we don't want to see you going home in the first round. We know you could do that. The point is we already done. Think about it, Max. When did we ever think we'd get to a point where the triple-double didn't matter to us? It doesn't when it comes to him because it's ordinary. It's what he does. He's a walking triple-double. We got that part, okay? Now it's about my brother, Kevin Durant left. And 4 times in 5 years, you went home in the first round. 5 times you've been home. Once you went to Houston and you lost. In the second round, your lone year there. These are your teammates. I'm going to remind everybody again. Kevin Durant, Serge Ibaka, Reggie Jackson, Victor Oladipo, Paul George, James Harden again, Bradley Beal, and now LeBron James. And that talent that is Russell Westbrook, surefire, first ballot, undeniable Hall of Famer. By the way, box office, you walk through the turnstiles to see a brother like that.
Yeah.
You walk through the turnstiles to see a Russell Westbrook.
Everything he has every night.
Russell Westbrook's got over $200 million and nobody blinked because we know he deserves it. We know he deserves it because he gives it to you every day. He never cheats the game with his effort. But at some point in time, we're going to be like, where's the chip? And this is where it gets real dicey for him. Because you were with Kevin Durant and you were taking shots people felt Kevin Durant should have been taking. Then you had your time and you became Mr. Triple-Double. Then you had Harden, who's your boy. And Harden and you ended up not wanting to play together. You go with Bradley Beal, who's one of the top 2 leading scorers in the league, him and Steph Curry last season, okay? And you with Bradley Beal. Of course, you got to the first round, but at the time that, everybody was upset with what I said, they were 13 games under 500 in the Eastern Conference. So now you've overcome, now all of that's aside. You wanted out of D.C., they gave it to you, and they put you in your hometown. This is a UCLA product. This is L.A., this is an L.A. dude. Any kind of hype, any kind of energy, any kind of fervor that we have seen from Russell Westbrook is expected to elevate even more significantly. So when you look at all of those things, And the fact that if LeBron James alone was your teammate, they would have expectations. But now you got LeBron and Anthony Davis. There has never been, ever, in the career of Russell Westbrook where the eye of the storm will be on him, because we're all going to be looking to see how he messes, how he ingratiates himself within their system, playing with LeBron and AD.
Right, and then you just got to go add a few pieces, some shooting, things to that nature. But look, you got David Fizdale over there, who was with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade when those guys were punishing people on the low block and learning how to cut and slash and play off of one another, getting out in transition. We'll see that happening. And by the way, they have the best player development coach in the game, and Phil Handy, that hasn't got his chance to put his hands on Russell Westbrook. Once he get Russell Westbrook in his space and in his area, he's going to correct that jump shot of his. I'm not saying he's going to come back shooting like, I was going to say Joe Harris, but I don't want to say Joe Harris because the way he was shot last year in the postseason. But he's not going to come back shooting like Steph Curry. But I guarantee you, Russell Westbrook, a guy that has been to the finals, he knows what it takes. When as a youngster is going to come back on a mission, he's going to put that key in Anthony Davis back where he can't take those possessions off. He's going to bring the best out of Anthony Davis. Laker Nation stand up. Magic Johnson is happy. Jenny Buss is happy. Everybody is happy, and as they should be, because the Lakers are the real deal.
Well, you and I see this exactly alike, Perk. They're not going to beat the Warriors. They're not going to beat the Nets yet. If you have to say who you like in that series, if everyone's healthy, it's still the Nets. But let's see what else the Lakers do. Let's see how they round out the roster. I'll say that I totally agree. People are over-concerned about fit and not just looking at what Westbrook brings to the team, which is a whole lot. And here's the thing I'm going to say, Stephen Hayden, I'm going to give it to you. The Lakers did this for a bunch of spare parts. I'm not saying they weren't useful. Montrezl Harrell, sixth man of the year type guy, like not a modern power forward, but like more of an old school power forward. KCP, maybe a starter on some teams, certainly a rotation piece. Kyle Kuzma, he is what he is. He's okay. He's an NBA player, also a rotation piece, really inconsistent. Those are spare parts. You can find guys like that every year in the offseason. You turned that into Russell Westbrook? My hat's off to you. Into Russell Westbrook? Let's not forget, every year, he's on a new team with new teammates. First half, he doesn't look so great. Second half of the year, he's an MVP candidate. Every single year. He's an MVP candidate in the second half. That is an amazing job the Lakers just did.
He's an MVP candidate. He is a future Hall of Famer. He is box office. He is a superstar talent in this game. And when it is all over, we will chronicle him throwing all of those laudables in his direction because he will have deserved it. We will miss him when he's gone. But while he's here, like I tell everybody, obviously I'm a soap opera fan.
You're a soap opera star. Don't bury the lead, okay? You're not a fan. You actually have a recurring, you have a role on it.
I defer to my brother like Eric Braden, who plays Victor Newman on Young and the Restless. I'll see you in a few days, buddy.
I hate gassing you up. You have a role.
Maurice Bernard, General Hospital, star of General Hospital. I'm just in their world. I'm just trying, as Kendrick Perkins would say, I'm just trying to get a
Yeah, right. We're all in Stephen A's world. Isn't that a show on television?
Let me say this to you. It is a show on television. Let me say this to you. This is the part where it gets uncomfortable, more so for Perk than for Max, but I disagree with Max and Perk in this regard. Russell Westbrook is under immense pressure. I said that earlier. Said it to Kendrick Perkins on Get Up. I said it to you at the start of the show. I have in front of me the LA Times and the title of a column by the great Bill Plaschke, the voice of LA. What does it say? Would you like me to tell you the headline, Max and Kendrick Perkins? The headline, column. Russell Westbrook is welcomed home if he puts his new Lakers teammates first. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm saying? There is a narrative that exists. It wasn't created by me. It wasn't created. This is what they're saying, though, Max. When Kevin Durant and Ibaka and Reggie Jackson and Victor Oladipo and James Harden twice, not just once, and Paul George and Bradley Beal are your teammates. somehow, some way, you're going to be held accountable because of your greatness. Not because you're a scrub, because you're a greatness. When I ruffled feathers about Russell Westbrook, it's because I was saying, he's so great, I don't want to see you home in the first round. I want to see you deep into the playoffs. I want to watch you against the stiff competition. I want you right where you just landed, competing for a championship. Russell Westbrook was on the record. Yo, I'm going to do me. You understand? When we questioned how come Kevin Durant wasn't getting more shots. Russell Westbrook was on the record in Houston. Yo, I don't want to be here with James Harden. I ain't some damn sidekick. I want to play the way that I want to play. Russell Westbrook wanted to leave Houston because he wanted to play his way. Russell Westbrook wanted out of Washington, D.C. And before he departed, what did he say? Remember that say? When he came back? Championships don't mean that much to me. I've seen plenty of champions that are less happy than me. A Los Angeles